your new best friend. Move over, Rover. Could robotic pets one day replace the real thing? By Andrew Klein. What makes a good pet? Everyone has an opinion. Maybe it's an animal that happily greets you at the door, or one that shows affection when you pet it, or comes when you call. But it's a given that a good pet is alive, right? Maybe not. New research suggests that people respond to robotic pets in much the same way as we do to our living animal companions. People like pets because we get pleasure from taking care of another creature, walking it, feeding it, giving it water, says Catherine Hope, a veterinarian who studied animal behavior at Cornell University in New York. Research has shown that even get a drop in blood pressure from petting a dog. It's a relaxation response, she says. Despite the psychological and physiological benefits, not everyone is prepared to take on the responsibility that comes with owning a living, breathing pet. That's prompted some scientists to question whether robotic pets could have the same effect. Robo research. Alan Beck is the director of the Center for the Human Animal Bond at Purdue University at Indiana. He and his colleagues Gail Melson and Tracy Roberts study the health benefits of owning pets. To learn more about how we interact with robotic ones, he turned to Aibo, a robotic dog named by Sony. Engineers programmed Aibo to mimic behaviors seen in real dogs, like fetching balls and looking at you when you call. The upside, its owners don't have to buy food, pick up poop, or take it to the vet. To see how people's behavior compares when we interact with living pets versus robotic ones, Beck studied more than 70 kids ages 7 to 15 as they interacted with Abel and a female Australian sheepdog named Canis. He also asked the kids questions about how they felt about their robot and the dog. When it came to petting and spending time with either Canis or the robot, everyone preferred Canis. And although the kids showed more affection toward the real dog, most kids showed affection for Aibo too. For instance, the kids were asked, if you were alone at home, would you feel better with Canis? Almost everyone said they would feel better. When asked the same question about Aibo, 74% said they would feel better with Aibo. Similarly, when asked if it's wrong to hit a dog, 79% of the kids said yes. 73% said it was wrong to hit the robot. A true bond. Although Beck's study suggests that people act similarly towards a real dog and a robotic dog, a 2005 study found that Aibo doesn't generate the same physiological response. When we spend time with live pets, our brain releases a chemical called oxytocin, says Hope. We release the same hormone when we feel affection for people. Oxytocin is believed to bolster emotional bonds between family and friends. Recent research shows that dogs release oxytocin when they're around us too. It's a true interaction, says Beck. The dog really wants to be with you. It recognizes you and gets pleasure from your voice, facial expressions, and glance. Being around Aibo, however, doesn't cause the same release of oxytocin in our brains. Even though this suggests that we may never see a robotic pet as equal to an animal, Beck says that his findings show that we still see them differently from an ordinary machine, like a toaster. I've never convinced anyone to hit Aibo, he says. I wouldn't do it either. Number 6. Read the paragraph. Even though this suggests that we may never see a robotic pet as equal to an animal, Beck says his findings show that we still see them differently from an ordinary machine like a toaster. I've never convinced anyone to hit Aibo, he says. I wouldn't do it either. Which evidence best supports the point the author makes in this paragraph? A. More than 70 young people between the ages of 7 to 15 were studied as they interacted with a robotic dog and a living dog. B. Every young person in the study preferred spending time with Canis. C. While everyone in the study showed a lot of affection towards Canis, most participants showed affection for Aibo as well. D. Oxytocin was not released in the brains of those who interacted with Aibo. Number 7. What details will be most important to include in a summary of the article. Choose 2. A. Because real dogs are a lot of responsibility, researchers created a robotic dog that can interact with humans. B. A good pet is one that greets you at the door and shows affection when you pet it. C. Most of the kids who were studied admitted that they would not kick the robot dog. D. Because robotic dogs do not need food or trips to the vet, people may purchase them. E. The kids in the study admitted that both Canis and Aiba would make them feel better if they were alone at home. Number 8. What is Aibo? A. A robotic dog made by Sony. B. A real dog that Catherine owns. C. A robotic cat made by Sony. D. A stuffed animal made by Cornell University. Number 9. Read the paragraph. When we spend time with live pets, our brain releases a chemical called oxytocin, says Hoopt. We release the same hormone when we feel affection for people. Oxytocin is believed to bolster emotional bonds between family and friends. Recent research shows that dogs release oxytocin when they're around us too. What does the word bolster mean as it is used in the paragraph? A. Replace. B. Strengthen. C. Curb. D. Explain. Number 10. The reader can infer that researchers decided it was valuable to research the human response to robotic dogs because A. Owning a robot dog is cheaper than owning a living, breathing dog. B. Owning a living dog is too much responsibility for many people. C. Robotic dogs are proven to have the same physiological effect on humans as living dogs do. D. Robotic dogs have been programmed to behave in the same ways that living dogs do.